Okay, Jane, thanks for coming in. I know it's been a while. We talked a little bit last week about some of the things going on, some of the things that you're feeling, and I have to admit it sounded pretty tough. It sounded like it was time to come in and talk a little bit more. So I appreciate you coming in. I appreciate you coming in to see me. And like I said just a little bit ago after we met, some of the things you're describing, I want to kind of do this screening tool. I want to ask you some questions. This is just a screening tool. I'll explain more about it as we go through it, okay? Mm-hmm. So we'll just get started here. Let me pull that up. So Jane, any upsetting thoughts or memories about the event that's come into your mind against your will? And here you just answer yes, at least twice in the past week, or no?
Yes.
Okay. Have you had any upsetting dreams about the event?
Yes, every night, just about every night.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Acting or feeling as though the event were happening again?
Yes, often, many times throughout the day.
Okay. Feeling upset by reminders of the event?
Yeah.
Okay. And again, I just want to repeat, yes, at least twice in the past week for all of these questions?
Yes.
Okay. Any bodily reactions? Stomach turning, heart beating faster, anything like that? Bodily?
Does panic count?
Mm-hmm. Like shortness of breath?
Yeah.
Anything fast? Yeah. Okay. Any difficulty falling or staying asleep by chance? 2 or more times in the past week?
No, I mean, I usually just wake up because of the dreams, the bad nightmares. I usually
Okay.
fall asleep because I'm so tired. I'm just not sleeping throughout the day.
Okay.
Or throughout the night, so.
How about any irritability or any outbursts of anger?
Yeah, sometimes.
Okay. More than usual?
Yeah.
Okay. Any difficulty concentrating?
Yes, all the time.
Okay. Any heightened awareness of potential dangers
Yes.
to yourself or others?
All the time.
And any feeling jumpy or being startled by something unexpected?
Yes, all the time.
Okay. Thank you for that, Jane. Jane, can you just go over and remind me of what's sort of been happening in this last 4 or 5 weeks? What's transpired? What's happened? I know a little bit, but I'd just like to hear it again from you. I just listened to it on the phone, so I'd like to hear more just from you. Just talk about the event again.
Okay, where do I start? It's so hard to even talk about because I relive it and I'm just so scared. And my husband was so abusive for 7 years, and I finally left, and I'm just consumed by feeling overwhelmed and fearful for even my life. Sorry. And
okay.
yeah, and it's really difficult. It's really difficult to go to work. I'm struggling even, going to my car because I'm afraid that he's waiting for me, and it's just been really hard and difficult, and I just don't know what to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So most of this stemming from just what's been how long with your husband?
I've been married for 7 years. The abuse really got bad in the last 2.
The last 2? Okay. So we're not talking about any single event here. We're talking about recurring things. And some physical, some emotional.
Yes.
Things like that. Okay. Well, Jane, just looking at the tool, this is just a basic screening tool to kind of detect, you could say, if there's any symptoms of PTSD, things like that. And by PTSD, I don't know, have you ever heard of this phrase?
Not really, no. I mean, I've heard it maybe, I think I saw a commercial for it once, but I don't really know what it is, actually.
Well, they call it post-traumatic stress disorder, and it's really just this difficult mental disorder that people can get. It develops after, events like yours, threatening or distressing events. These can be car accidents. These can be physical abuse, emotional abuse. These can be not only things that happen to you, but things you witness, the death of a loved one. anything you perceive to be traumatic can be a traumatic event. Okay, and just kind of a reaction. And they come up with this name called post-traumatic stress disorder for it. Sometimes people respond to symptoms, everything you just described, the sleeping, the difficulty sleeping, the avoiding things. People can deal with these for 3-4 weeks or so, and then it just goes away and it's fine. But other people, they continue and they go on. And right now you said it's been going on for at least 4 or 5 weeks. So it's something we want to take pretty seriously and look at. So when I say disorder, I guess, post-traumatic stress disorder, what kind of comes to your mind?
Well, I don't really like being labeled with a disorder. That's kind of scary, you know. I mean, my husband did all this to me. It's really not my fault, and I don't know. Is it something that would be cured? I guess I'm worried about having a disorder and never being able to get over it, you know, or overcoming it. And it's really affected my quality of life, what he's done. Depression, anxiety, I feel stressed, I'm having trouble at work, I'm avoiding my parents. I haven't even told them that I've left him yet. My friends don't even know. They think I'm on vacation right now. There's just so much going on. I'm feeling so overwhelmed with everything, and just like I'm waking up at night with panic and nightmares that he's like coming after me, and I don't know. I mean, a disorder just sounds so permanent.
Well, I can understand that. Some people do talk about that need not to be labeled. And I get that. And sometimes when people can put a name to something, it makes them feel like they've identified something, they can get some help. So when we talk about disorder, we're just talking about there's this cluster of symptoms and things that are going on that you've talked about, just a group of these. And we're going to treat those. It's just we come up with a name what to call it, just to help us. Okay? And I want to tell you, the good news is that there is treatment for this, and people can get better. Okay? People can get better and do get better. On the flip side, the bad news is sometimes without treatment, things remain as they are, and things go on. So I want to offer hope right now that things can get better, and people deal with this all the time. You're definitely not alone in this, okay? So just a couple more things to describe it, I think would be helpful, is one of the things that happens with PTSD is there's a reliving of the event. Okay, and you kind of described this. It's like the event's happening again. So there's certain things that can remind you of the event, and sometimes this happens through certain triggers, certain words, right? Or seeing somebody. Okay, and nightmares, they show up in the nightmares. Would you say you have any examples of where you keep reliving the event?
I mean, I didn't think about it, but I can't even wear necklaces because anything on my neck, I have to wear shirts that are open because, you know, the last time, you know, he choked me, and I have trouble with people touching my neck or necklaces on my neck. It just, I have a panic attack if someone even hugs me too tight. I feel like I'm choking, and I just can't do it. I don't know what to tell them. You know, I just back away, especially at work. People hug me good morning, and I'm pulling away. I'm actually avoiding people in general because I can't even see them at work. I'm afraid they're going to hug me because just having someone tight around me just, you know, the other day at work I had a panic attack. I had to go in the bathroom, and I just cried for 15 minutes. It was actually really embarrassing. Just was overwhelming. It came over quite suddenly.
Okay. That sounds tough. That sounds really difficult. Another one of the symptoms that happens is the need to avoid. And sometimes this happens where you will avoid certain situations, people, or different things. And you mentioned a little bit of avoidance, friends and family. Do you, any other areas in your life where you see you're avoiding more things than you never used to avoid?
Well, I'm not going out in public. I haven't gone to church. You know, things I used to look forward to, I'm not looking forward to anymore. I'm actually just really afraid that he's going to find me. And I don't want to confront people or have them confront me about what's going on or where I am at. I told my closest friends I was on vacation, so I'm avoiding going out in public because I don't want them to see me. You know, I'm just I just am avoiding life in general. I'm pretty much just staying at home with the doors locked, and I'm not even calling people on the phone. I'm pretty much staying shut in.
Okay. Yeah, and so there's just not spending time with the people you care about. It's difficult to do normal activities, it sounds like a little bit. So just listening to you now in these past 10-15 minutes and answering these questions, I want to propose that we meet again and maybe do a bit of a more thorough assessment, talk a little more. These things take time. I want to just sort of build the relationship, if that's okay with you, get to know more about it, and hear a little bit more about the story. Would you be okay to meet next week?
Yeah.
Okay. You can talk to my secretary out there and set up the schedule, and you can get with me after that.
Okay.
Thanks for attending.